Our next presenter is Riva Doshi with Pioneering the Future, a guide to forward thinking.
To begin, let's start with a story. I know this happens to every kid, at least those with pushy moms. It was winter, and my mom pops a question. The question that I dread every year. What camps do you do this summer? And I answer with the same reply. I don't know, summer's still 6 months away. She always says that the costs are cheaper, early bird sales and all of that. But I'm too busy as it is, dealing with things right now. Like I said, the summertime is still far away, so I don't bother myself deciding what to do then, because I'm still figuring out what to do this weekend. But I get why she does this. She's simply thinking ahead, planning, in order to make it easier for herself, and her bank account, of course. A lot of people, and her bank account, of course. You may not realize it, but we think ahead all the time, in multiple different ways and situations. Today, I'm going to talk to you about forward thinking, how it keeps you less stressed, more prepared, in order, and finally, the steps for how you can start thinking ahead. Forward thinking can be small or big, depending on the situation. It can be small by simply just choosing what you're going to wear. Look at what you're wearing tonight. Did you throw it on 5 minutes before you left, hurrying here in a rush? Or did you know what you were going to wear since yesterday? Your outfit all ready to go. Many of you probably just figured it out moments before, which is the opposite of forward thinking. On a much larger scale, making a life-changing decision, such as choosing what major you want to pursue in college, requires some forward thinking. I think ahead about this big time. I want to be a lawyer when I grow up, so I've done multiple things in order to prepare myself, starting from an early age. The first thing I did to prepare was go to camp, mock trial, and the criminal justice system. And let me tell you, it was perfect. I learned so much that I think could really help me later in life. I even made some new friends. Secondly, and most recently, I shadowed and interviewed actual lawyers. I asked each of them a set of questions in which I learned how being a lawyer works in the real world. I even received some advice, including preparation on joining certain clubs. Finally, I completed a project in which I researched an experience that really happened to a lawyer. By doing all of this, I was able to understand what it's actually like to be a lawyer. This didn't change my views about becoming one at all. In fact, it reassured me and made me confident that I was on the right track, that this is the right thing for me. Even though you may not realize it, we think ahead almost every day in multiple different situations. Some of you may be utilizing calendars, studying for a test, or even going Black Friday shopping for a Christmas gift. These are all instances when we're thinking ahead. But why do we do this? How does thinking ahead help us? One of the 3 main benefits to forward thinking is keeping you prepared. If you prepare yourself correctly in advance, then you'll be all set for whatever it was that you were preparing for. So, let's say that you have a soccer match tomorrow, and you're really nervous. The first thing that you do to prepare was something that you've been doing all along. Practice. You've been working really hard because you know you want to win this. You know how to do all the different shots and blocks, ensuring that you're ready for whatever is to happen at the game. You also know that it's going to be a long tournament, so you bring lots of food for the entire day in case you get hungry. You also check the weather, and it's hot. So of course, you bring lots of water and drinks to keep you hydrated. Taking all of these actions gets everything set and ready to go, and ensures that you have a better approach to tomorrow's game, one that you were so worried about only moments before. Forward thinking actually ensures that you are not new to the experience. so that you, your mind, and your body are aware of what is going to happen next. Thinking ahead also keeps you organized, or in order. This makes sure that you're not a hot mess. Sometimes when I'm planning something, I like to write it all down, so I never forget anything or miss anything big. Frankly speaking, when I was planning and writing this speech, I had so many ideas for what I could say. They were all over the place, new ones sparking up here and there. I was so scared of losing any of them, so I knew I had to keep my thoughts safe somewhere. I didn't end up using every one, but it was really helpful when the time came to need them. Being organized lets you know what's coming next, in case anything needs to change in the future. It essentially maps out the path for you. Thinking ahead also reduces your stress levels. Although forward thinking can seem a little difficult at first, because it adds some pressure to the body, it actually makes sure that you're less stressed when the time comes. Basically, it takes away the stress from you during the moment, even though it may cause you to experience some of that stress right now. A lot of people feel more stressed nowadays, especially if you have a packed schedule. If you don't think beforehand, then that can cause you to be forgetful and even give you anxiety. But planning and organizing your needs can definitely help you feel less stressed, which will impact your body in a positive way. Shifting to a neurological perspective, let's take a look at the human brain. The frontal lobe is the part of the brain that is involved in decision making. It can also control your planning, thinking, and organizing. It is shown that an interplay between the brain's prefrontal cortex and the hippocampus allow us to imagine our future outcomes in order to guide our decisions. The prefrontal cortex also thinks about and tests possible situations by using a cognitive map that is located in the hippocampus. When thinking ahead, your brain travels to the time of what you're preparing for, causing us to imagine what might potentially happen. Doing this can help you realize something you hadn't thought of before, including the different situations you might face. Now you know what really goes on in that crazy space up there. So, without further ado, here are the steps for successful forward thinking. First, and most importantly, you have to know what you are thinking and wondering about in your mind. Essentially, what are you preparing for? Second, you want to take in all the different factors, aspects, and information that can likely help you make your final decision, or your following actions. For instance, let's say that your friend's birthday party is this weekend. You know who, your friend, what, a slumber party, where, their house, when, Saturday night, and why. To celebrate their birthday, of course. Third, you want to start thinking about possible situations that could take place in different cases. A good idea is to create the list of the pros and cons of any situation that you might be stuck in. Your pajamas could get dirty, so you pack an extra pair. Doing this can help you see a new sense of things, which would even alter your ultimate decision. Fourth, while considering all of these things, you should be using your intuition. What feels right? I want you to listen to your gut, but make sure it's listening to what you need. It's okay to have multiple things prepared, as anything could happen. In fact, the more prepared, the better. We have now reached the last stage, or the end goal. So, the only thing left to do is to prepare. My mom always told me to be one step ahead in life, and I think that that is really important because it can help us become better versions of ourselves, affecting and impacting the body in a positive way. I implement this practice every single day, and I hope that you will too. Thank you.